You're watching the Cavalry. Look, I'm going to try and make this video as precise as possible, and hopefully that will shorten it as well. Let's talk about what needs to happen. Number one, sign Ben Jealous's petition, the NAACP petition, so that we can possibly handle this legally without any extra bloodshed. Two, those who can, figure it out. And you know what I mean when it comes to the streets. We as black men and the few African American women who have their heads on straight, and look, I'm not trying to offend you, but you guys know that the vast majority of African American women haven't been thinking properly for a long time. And this is not to talk about you right now. It's just stating what are the facts. So we know that there are a large percentage of black men who are, of course, nerdy and actually understand what's going on, pay attention to the news, pay attention to what's going on in terms of politics, as well as have been already engaged in many battles against racists, on the internet. We also know that that weak African American women have been working with racists on the internet because they felt that they had a kinship with these racists against black men. Now, none of us know what they thought that they were going to get out of it, but what they actually got out of it was the death of Trayvon Martin. And there will be more deaths beyond that. You have to realize that you're not getting all the news that's happening around the United States. There is a trial currently going on with this person by the name of Didi, who flew to Hawaii, basically is a white guy who is a glorified security guard. And he picked a fight with a Hawaiian guy in a McDonald's. Now, he claims that he was trying to defend another white guy who was being harassed by this Hawaiian. And in actuality, that particular white guy was drunk, with his people, and he states that he didn't actually have a problem with that Hawaiian guy because he's a local. Not the Hawaiian guy. The Hawaiian guy, yes, is a local, born there, but the white guy there is a local. So he's used to whatever was going on in that McDonald's. But regardless of that, this Didi person shot this Hawaiian guy dead. So what you have to understand, African American community, as well as the rest of the minorities, is that for a long time has been an all-out war against the minority population in the United States. So you have these sick white people actually flying to Hawaii to kill the minorities, which are the majority in Hawaii, just to get their kicks. They like killing non-whites. But talking about what the African American women were doing, again, we don't know what they thought they were going to get out of it. But I'll say directly to those who are working with the racists think that you're fools. They don't want you, don't actually care about you. What they wanted was to infiltrate and get their kicks. And this is not, we don't give a damn about the sex involved with you all with these racists. We don't really care. But what's important is what the racists want to get out of you. It is divide and conquer. And what they wanted out of you was to weaken the black community, which for the most part, until the black men came on YouTube, you were weakening the black community. But we're strong now, and we realize that we have to move on to other women who are just better suited for the African American man. These other women basically, are better allies. You allied yourself with the racists, and you, for whatever reason, you knew or didn't know or just didn't care that it was a bad idea. So you got some cleanup to do. So I'm not letting African American women go when it comes to what they were doing in terms of working with racists. Now I'm saying this directly to the Advise show. Look, I agree with the vast majority of what you said in your video, but we can't put aside what African American women have done to the black community to go after what's happening when it comes to the racists. We have to put out both fires at the same time. There is nowhere in the world when it comes to, and I know you're probably just, saying this out of, the heat of the moment, but if your house is on fire, my brother, you can't leave the kitchen burning and put out the fire that's happening on the second floor of your house. And you cannot put out the fire in your kitchen and leave the fire burning on the second floor of your house. It just doesn't work that way. In order to save the house, you have to put out both fires. So that's, my 2 cents when it comes to what Advise Show was saying. And I think that we can, totally, respect, each other and, just, have a, difference of opinion here and there. It's no problem with that. So Advise Show is you look at him physically and you say super strong brother, but the reality is that this brother is a super strong brother mentally. And I'm going to say this as well. He was my very first Twitter follower. There are some weak black men out here. There's this brother on YouTube. I mean, this brother's so sorry. He's literally pathetic, man. He made this video, saying that he 100% supports Paula Deen. And I would say Advise Show said it best. You don't work with the people who are fighting your family. That's insane. You protect your sister, you protect your brother, you protect your father, you protect your mother, you protect your cousins that are inside your family. You don't let someone else come into your family and talk bad about your family. And he was right. The problem that you and others like you, the people who are co-signing you on your page, what they have is the lack of family structure. Now, I'm going to say something to you too. You also have a problem because you have a lack of respect for black people. And what I'm saying to you is that you're letting three people, and let's say it was 12 people, dictate your emotional state. I'll say it again, dictate your emotional state. You're emotional. And so therefore you're saying crazy shit. 3 people, and you decide to say, I hope that George Zimmerman kills all the rest of the black people because 3 people have bothered you and have bothered your mother. Whether it's threats or not, it's insane for you to want to have these evil racist people attack the rest of the black community because you put yourself in a very vulnerable position. You made mistakes, stupid mistakes. One thing you did was show your face when you knew you had a criminal record. All right? That was dumb as hell. The second mistake you made was not respecting the people on your page. You decided that what you want to do was say, I don't know you all. So now you're out there running around the country. Looks like you're being chased from home to just live because you put yourself aside from your community and away from the protection of your community. There's a line that you crossed in terms of respect. And you should have apologized to a lot of these people. Maybe not the 3 or whatever, but you should have tried to make amends with your people instead of siding with racists. So again, Advise Show is right. You are now in a position where you're stuck with the racists. No one else is really going to defend you. You're out there alone. So good luck to you. Good luck to you. But I can tell you, you're pretty much the most irresponsible, weakest black man I have ever seen on YouTube. ever seen. And you're caught up in the same situation that the rest of us are caught up in.
Yeah.
The next creepiest white man may not recognize you from YouTube. And you may have a problem.
Yeah.
It could be a truck full of them. I know you probably think that you can take on one, but can you take on 20? This problem's gonna get out of hand.
Yeah.
There are a few older, weak black men on YouTube who like to say it's our fault. It's black men's fault. Let me tell you something. Racist white people say it's the rapper's fault for a reason. And again, I agree with Advice Show on this. It pains me to hear you morons, you black morons say, well, we say the N-word. So white people should be able to do it too, because it's only fair. A few of you black folk are just pathetic and damn embarrassments. Look, it's okay within your family household to say that your sister is an asshole. It's okay for you within your household to say your brother is a evil guy. But it's not okay for somebody to come and attack your brother on the street and kill him and say he's an evil guy. The reason why you may say he's an evil guy is because he burned up all your G.I. Joes. But the reason why they said he's an evil guy is because he's black. That's not right. And again, blaming rap, they do this because that's a source of black wealth, a source of black income. If we don't have the money, we can't fight legally. If we don't have the money, we don't have any homes. There's a place, I don't know if it even still exists in Mississippi. It's called Sugar Ditch. These black people were so poor, they were literally living in shacks, man. The walls, man, they're just filled with insects. I'm just gonna say it like that, filled with insects. And they didn't have any protection from the wind or the rain. It was just sad. These people had no indoor plumbing. In other words, no sinks, no bathrooms. I mean, just totally pathetic. Just that poor. So how many people could just come into Sugar Ditch and just push them around? Hell, if you drove a car through Sugar Ditch, and I saw this place when I was a kid, probably about 30 years ago. If you drove a car through Sugar Ditch, you could just decimate the whole damn little makeshift town. That's what happens when you don't have money. Blaming basketball players is also stupid. It's another source of income. Yeah. There needs to be a reallocation of where we're going to put our intelligentsia. But I will say to a lot of you brothers, you have to understand that there are two fires burning at the moment. And Scheherazade Ali tried to warn a lot and the vast majority of black women, but black women don't listen. She tried to say that when black men understand what you have been doing, all is lost. Black men start to understand what black women were doing between 2007, 2008, and 2009. And she couldn't bring it upon herself to tell the full truth. Black women basically were producing criminals. That's one fire that's burning. The second fire that's burning are the white people who are coming in attacking black people and black men because they see that as a window. The fact that we have criminals within black society who are killing other black people. That's two fires. And we're getting attacked on both ends. and there's a source to both fires, okay? We can't let one fire burn just to put out another. And we can't let the other fire burn just to put out that fire. We have to put out both fires. So when it comes to what some brothers are saying, as much as I want to agree with you in terms of we need to put all that aside, you have to understand that that's what the African American men of the past tried to do. They tried to ignore the problem, and the problem only got worse. So no, we cannot ignore the problem when it comes to civil rights. We have to do what Ben Jealous has put up as a petition, because I can tell you right now, it is hard to sign that petition because there's so many people trying to sign this petition to get the Department of Justice to seek charges against George Zimmerman, that the site is just overwhelmed. You can't even get there. That's how many people. So that's how many people that are on your side, black people. On your side. And that's also how many black people who are willing to go there and sign this petition to get this ball moving. So don't feel that you're alone, and don't feel that you're weak just because there are a few, maybe many, weak knuckleheads in the black community. Don't mess up your money just to appease the white man. You're just not willing to talk about it. You have a lot of black men out here who you've never met before, who you've never studied. And one of the reasons why you haven't been paying attention to these brothers is because, and again, I have to explain about the two fires burning. African American women have dictated what you as black people should and should not pay attention to. They suggested that you pay attention to the thug. They suggested that you pay attention to the criminal. They were having sex with criminals. A lot of brothers decided to become criminals because that was the only way to have sex with big booty black women. Well, look, those of us who decided not to go that direction were actually able to study up on all these African American men who have contributed to society and world society, period. You have to refocus. And the reason why I say black men so much when it comes to refocusing is because you have the power within you to do that. Black African American women just lost that ability. They are enamored by criminal worship. They had children with criminals, man. They had children with criminals, and they brought even more criminals into their lives to help raise more criminals. You have a lot of people out here who you've never met before do real important things, okay? In other words, you have Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's out here, astrophysicist. You have a lot of black executives, whether male or female, who are doing very important things. You have a lot of black inventors who have done and hold all different types of patents. You don't talk about those. You talk about all the popular celebrities. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Just talk about the other people as well, and you won't feel so isolated to, football, basketball, and hip hop artists. That's just not the reality. You've made it a black reality, but that's not the reality. The reason why I don't have a bleak aspect on the African American community is because I know the people who have used their intelligentsia to forge the black race. So you have to pick up, a book, a magazine, or Wikipedia, Google it, and find out that for yourself so that you can feel a little bit more proud of yourself, proud of your people. So, in closing, the ones who I would like to pull together are the African American men. I know that African American women are absolutely upset because I've seen you guys on Facebook. You're worried about your sons, as you should be. And you're threatening to burn the whole world down if they touch a little boy. But At the same time, you have to understand that before all this went down, there was just a huge amount of African American women who were actually standing up for the other African American women or fellow African American women who were breeding shooters, who were breeding criminals. You were standing up for these people. You were also standing up for these same women who are breeding criminals, who are willing to have a chat with a racist because you felt like you had a kinship. You were standing up for those women who are educated, who are not breeding criminals, who are still standing with the racists. So you have to clean up your act, or at least stand aside from what these other knucklehead women are doing. Because I'm going to tell you right now, for a long time I've stood away, and other black men like me have stood aside from the thug, the shooter, the criminal within the black community, so that the world will know that not every black man is like those knuckleheads. We don't want to be associated with that. And that also meant that we had to stand ourselves aside from African American women, because African American women are attracted to the shooter. So look, you have to separate yourself from that type of riffraff, just like we did. We're going to have to be apart a little bit to come together. The black men knew what was going on because we were always in danger. A certain section didn't care. And standing apart means that I can't, Advise Show can't. And I'm not trying to speak for Advise Show, but you can, as black men, we can tell which side we're on. We can't associate with that knucklehead who made so many mistakes, who effed up his life. That knucklehead who supports Paula Deen 100%. That knucklehead who's sitting up there saying that George Zimmerman should attack 1 million black people because 3 black people messed with him. We can't stand with this guy because, see, this dude, this weak ass black man does not realize that is not all about him. And he doesn't understand the difference between life and death when it comes to Trayvon Martin and what's happening to him. He's emotional. He's an emotional man. And if he checked his emotions, he would be able to see his way out and be able to see his way to working with the stronger black men out here in this world. But hey, man, he'd rather work with the racists. That's on him. And I've said enough about that guy. I want to say more about Akugaya's boss. I want to say more about Advise Show. I want to say more about Evans Colas, Derek Barrett Films. I want to say more about these men. The men who are willing to fight for what's right, fight to save black people. I want to talk more about Martin Luther King, because despite what you think about Martin Luther King, man, he was an extremely strong individual. And there were people who were upset because there were certain marches that Martin Luther King had to abstain from. But they wanted to put him out like he was Achilles. And Martin, he had advisors and he had his own brain, and he knew that the only way this was going to happen, the only way this was going to work, is if he stayed alive for as long as he could, because he knew and he accepted who he was to black people. He knew the reality, and the reality is that he was only human, and he knew that he would have to work with like minds like himself in order to win, in order to change everything. He was only human. So he just had to do the best he could and be as strong as he could to save us all. So I'm saying this to all the strong black men. And yeah, I know I haven't mentioned all of you all, but trust me, you all are strong. And don't be afraid now. Let's focus. Let's focus on saving our people, those who want to be saved. So, this is the Cowboy. You can friend and like me on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm out.